Mario along the National Highway with my Peace Corps buddy, George, the two of us. It was the summer, there was no classes, so summer of '63, some young people came to visit the barrio that I lived in. She was one of them. I was sitting downstairs. My Peace Corps buddy and I were renting the upstairs of a house owned by two teachers, and they lived downstairs, we lived upstairs. So I was sitting downstairs. I didn't have my shirt on. When I saw her, I ran upstairs, put on my shirt, and I came back down. And George looked at me and he said, "This is it, Ed, you got it." Lightning struck. So we invited her over for coffee or mahjong, I don't know what. She could hardly speak English. And of course, I didn't speak Tagalog and she didn't know Ilocano much. So we couldn't communicate much. The next day, the young people all rented a couple of buses and went on a trip to Baguio, which is in the mountains 1 mile up. It's a very cool place. There's a military base for Americans called Camp John Hay. It's a recreational base.
Been there.
The summer Malacanang is up there. So they went on a tour and I went with them. I had my camera and I kept taking pictures of her without her even knowing it. Then I don't know how I found out where she lived, but we introduced each other, we got to know each other, and then I started making frequent trips to Manila to visit her. She lived in Manila. I would flag down the bus at night, usually around 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. I would stand by the National Highway if I see the bus coming, because there's a sign at the top of the bus, lit sign. You can see that it's a bus and not just a truck. I go like this, desperately go like this, because you want it to stop. In America, when you do like this, that means go away. In the Philippines, it means stop, stop. Just the opposite. So some of the buses were converted international harvester trucks with wooden seats. And you're in a truck on wooden seats for 7 hours all night like this. That's what I did to go visit her. That's how I sacrificed. When I got into Manila, the first place you head for is this room. And I would usually arrive in Tondo around 6 o'clock in the morning. I would grab a jeepney for Tondo. That's where she lived. Tondo is one of the most dangerous areas of Manila. That's where she lived, yeah. But no problem, it was okay. So we dated. The first date we went to a movie, and of course her cousin came along as a chaperone. But we sat upstairs in the balcony. The chaperone sat far away. I didn't like having the chaperone because I had to pay for her ticket and everything. I'm basically a cheapskate. And so we did that, and then one weekend I arrived in Manila. We had communicated, but our signals crossed. And I arrived in Manila and I was told that she had left with her cousin for Baguio, which somehow we miscommunicated. So I took a bus up to Baguio. The cousin rented a room and the two of us rented a room. So we spent our first night together. That evening, it was a Saturday, we went to see the first James Bond movie, Dr. No. Anybody see Dr. No? With Ursula Anders? Beautiful movie. Yeah. And so we dated after that some more, and then we got married February 15th, 1964 in Pasay City. We found a Protestant minister. It was a Protestant church. We stayed at the Family Congress Hotel on Mabini. I don't know if you remember that. That's where Peace Corps volunteers stayed. And it was a cheap hotel. We had a wedding reception for 50 people. My parents, of course, couldn't come. Her parents couldn't come either. No money to bring anybody in. Just Peace Corps volunteers and some of the relatives that were in Manila. And my reception, the minister in Pasay City cost me $10 US. The reception at the Family Congress Hotel cost 200 pesos for 50 people. San Miguel, sandwiches, and the cake that you see in the picture.
There was also solid food.
No, sandwich, cake, and San Miguel. That solid food was sandwiches. Okay, we disagree. 200 pesos in those days at 4 to 1 was $50. So my whole wedding was $50 plus the $10 for church, $60.
Wow.
Plus, of course, the room at the Congress Hotel was like 13, 14 pesos a night, like $3, $4. So nothing. So some of the people attending the wedding reception had contacts with the military, and they invited us to a military nightclub that night in Manila. So we danced the night away. Yeah, that was nice. Then we got back to the hotel. She had sprained her foot, so we were sitting in the lobby around 1, 2 a.m. in the morning with the bellhop bringing a pan of hot water so she could soak her foot in the lobby. That was her wedding night. That's it. End of story.
When did the first kid come?
9 months and 5 days after the wedding. Lonnie was born 9 months and 5 days. November 20th. We got married on the 15th. Lonnie was born November 20th. One of the Peace Corps volunteers gave us a what would you call it? Birth preventative method that uses a foam, some kind of foam. It didn't work. That's where Lonnie was born. We didn't want kids right away, but it didn't work. So, but we're glad it didn't work. End of story.